Imagine a place where the cries of the forgotten echo through the halls, where shadows dance in the moonlight and the past refuses to rest. Welcome to Ravenswood Asylum, a place shrouded in mystery and fear. Are you brave enough to uncover its secrets? Picture yourself standing at the entrance, its iron gates rusted and creaking in the wind. Beyond them, the asylum looms, a decaying monument to suffering and madness. Every brick seems to hold a story, every shadow a secret. The air itself feels heavy, laden with memories of sorrow and despair. The trees surrounding the asylum seem to whisper in the wind, as if urging you to turn back. But curiosity pulls you forward. With each step closer, the chill in the air deepens, and the weight of unseen eyes becomes impossible to ignore. What waits within those walls? To find out, we must journey into Ravenswood's haunting past and uncover its terrifying truths. Built in 1883, the Ravenswood Asylum was intended to be a sanctuary for those deemed mentally ill. Its towering Gothic architecture was a testament to humanity's hope to heal the mind, offering a sense of security to families who sent their loved ones there. But hope turned to despair as overcrowding and archaic treatments pushed the asylum into darkness. By the early 20th century, Ravenswood became synonymous with neglect, abuse, and tragedy. At first glance, the asylum promised modern care with sprawling gardens and spacious halls. But as the years passed, those gardens became overgrown, the halls filled with the sound of anguished cries, and the promise of sanctuary turned into a nightmare. The asylum was designed to house 500 patients, but at its peak, over 2,000 men, women, and children were crammed into its walls. Many of them were abandoned by their families, left to the mercy of undertrained staff and outdated medical practices. Some were committed for reasons we'd now find shocking: postpartum depression, epilepsy, even rebellious behavior. Today, Ravenswood's abandoned halls stand as a chilling reminder of a bygone era. They're filled with eerie artifacts, rusted wheelchairs, broken beds, and crumbling patient files. Each item tells a story of a life interrupted. But the real question is, are those lives truly gone, or do their spirits still linger? Among the most infamous rooms is the isolation ward, where patients were locked away for days, sometimes weeks, in total darkness. It's said that even today, visitors feel an overwhelming sense of dread in that space, as if the walls themselves remember the pain they witnessed. In its prime, Ravenswood housed over 2,000 patients, many of whom suffered from conditions that were poorly understood. Electroshock therapy, ice baths, and even lobotomies were common practices. These methods left physical and emotional scars on the patients, and many perished within these walls. Take the story of Margaret, a young woman institutionalized for what was then labeled as melancholia, now known as depression. Margaret's ordeal began when she was just 19 years old. Her family, ashamed of her condition, committed her to Ravenswood. Records show she was subjected to over 30 electroshock sessions in 1 month. Her cries, staff reported, could be heard echoing through the hallways. Tragically, Margaret died alone in her cell. But even in death, she refused to be forgotten. Staff members and visitors have reported seeing a pale figure wandering near the treatment room where Margaret spent her final days. Some say she's searching for the family that abandoned her. Others believe she's trapped, reliving her torment. Then there was Dr. Halverson, a physician infamous for his unorthodox treatments. He believed that extreme fear could shock patients back to sanity. His experiments often left patients traumatized, and some died under his care. After his mysterious death in 1937, strange occurrences began. Staff reported seeing a shadowy figure in a lab coat pacing the halls. Doors would slam shut without explanation, and the faint smell of ether would fill the air. Visitors to the children's ward describe hearing faint laughter and the sound of a ball bouncing. But when they investigate, the rooms are empty. Could this be the residual energy of young lives cut tragically short, or something more sinister? Recently, a group of paranormal investigators braved a night inside Ravenswood. Armed with EMF detectors, spirit boxes, and night vision cameras, they ventured deep into the asylum. What they captured was chilling. While exploring the asylum's infamous morgue, the team recorded what they described as an oppressive presence. One investigator felt a sharp pain in his side, as if he'd been stabbed. Another reported hearing the sound of gurney wheels squeaking, though the room was empty. The most shocking moment came when a team member asked, "What happened to you?" And a voice, faint but unmistakable, replied, "They hurt me." "The energy in that place is like nothing I've ever experienced," said one investigator. "It's as if the building itself is alive, feeding off the tragedies that occurred there." What fuels these hauntings? Experts in the paranormal believe that Ravenswood is a hotbed for residual energy, the kind left behind by traumatic events. Others suggest these are intelligent hauntings, with spirits actively trying to communicate. Skeptics, however, argue that these experiences can be explained by psychological factors. High levels of suggestibility, combined with environmental conditions like low-frequency sound waves, could create the illusion of a haunting. But can science explain everything? As we step out of its shadowy halls, we're left with one question: do the dead truly rest? Or do they linger, waiting to tell their story? Ravenswood's mysteries remain unsolved, but one thing is certain: it's a place where the past refuses to stay buried. Thank you for joining us on this spine-chilling journey through Ravenswood Asylum. If this story captivated you, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow ghost enthusiasts, and subscribe to Hauntline for more tales of the unknown. Let us know in the comments. Do you believe Ravenswood is truly haunted? Or are these tales born from overactive imaginations? Share your own paranormal experiences with us. We'd love to feature your stories in a future video. Until next time, stay curious and stay haunted.